So now we are coming to delete every single code and write it ourselves. So trust me, we'll build this same page ourselves. But first, let's start from the basics and build it up to a higher level. So what we can do is we can highlight everything, or you can simply press Ctrl plus A to select everything, then you will click on the delete key. So make sure that you don't have any code in the main.dat, and let's save it. So hopefully our app will crash, but don't worry. So first, according to our architecture, which is this one, like I said, everything will start from this main function. Then we move up to the app widget, back to the home widget. Then we will then add a simple text which will say hello world as usual. So for us to do so, we need to first create our main widget, which is void main. So now we now have our main function. As you can see, we now have the run, we have the debug, and the profile. Don't worry about this void. I'll explain it much details when we get into the Dart aspect. So now we are doing the Flutter, but for us to work with the Flutter, we need to start it using a main function, since Flutter was built on top of Dart. That's why. Then we will have our run app. So it will be run app. Run app like this. But we are still getting some warnings. And the warning is run app isn't defined. Run app is not defined because we need to import that widget. So where is this run app is coming from? So for us to fix this error, have you seen this bulb here? We can click on it, which will give us a method to fix this error. So as you can see, it's a quick fix. Then we have a list of methods to choose from. We have importing Flutter material, we have importing package Flutter widgets, we have importing Flutter Cupertino, and then we have create function. So what do we need? We need an import from Flutter material. So let's choose this one. Then have you seen the error is gone nicely? And another way for you to fix it is, as I'm typing the run app, see, I'm getting options. So the moment that I click on this option, bam, automatically this import will show up and the error will be gone. So let me end it with a semicolon. Then we need to give a name to the widget that we are coming to create. So I'll clear everything, then I'll name this widget as my app. So for us to create this my app widget, we need to start from class my my app like this one, then we extend a widget called stateless widget. So we will extend this widget, which is called stateless widget. Then we will open and close curly braces. So we are still getting an error. Let's continue creating this my app class, which will then have a constant constructor called my app. So we are now having a constant constructor with this super key. I'll explain all these things into details as we are getting deeper and deeper. But for now, let's let's keep it this way. But still, we are still having red warning. For us to complete this my app class, we need to do some simple override. So we need to override a widget, which we can now then return our home widget. So as simple, to do this override, we need to type the @ sign and then we add the override. We add the override to it. Then we are overriding widget which will then have a build context. Then opening and closing curly braces. So now, the moment that we added the override, we can now see that our error is now gone. So we should now quickly return a widget known as material app. So for us to do so, we need to type return material which is this one. And then we will open and close parentheses and we will add a semicolon to get rid of the error. So for us to get rid of this error, we need to add a constant to it. And then since it's a class, we need to make sure that we have opening and closing curly braces like this one, const. Have properties like the title of your app, the theme of your app, and we can from there we can now call our home page widget. And all these things can be, we can now give the title of our app, which will be something like my first app. And then you should bring a comma before we can add another property. So the next property that we can add is the theme. Then then colon, and we will add theme data. And then inside the theme data, we can now add another property called primary switch. Sorry, called primary swatch. Called primary swatch. So which we can add color. So what are we doing here? We have this app widget. We have a title called my app, my first app. Then we added a theme, which we chose primary swatch. We added a primary swatch theme with a color blue. Then we will bring comma at the end of our theme. So this is where our theme ended. So we have theme data, and it is ending here, theme data. Then we now have the ability to add our home widget too as well. So this is our home. So the home is a property inside this material app widget. So how can we build this home widget too as well? But first of all, let's name this home widget. So const, which will be my home page. But this naming convention is all up to you. You can name it hi, but it should be capital letter. It should start from capital letter. Something like this, hi, or whatever that you prefer. But I prefer leaving it my home page. So to create this my home page is also going to be another stateless widget, like the way we build this one. So let's quickly go through. We have a class, then we have my home page, then we will extend what? A stateless, S should be capital, a stateless, you extend a stateless widget. You open and close curly braces. Then you create a super constructor for it, which will be my home page, like so. super, then key, and then we'll end it with a semicolon like this one. So what do we have left? We now have to override this my home page, which is very simple as at override like this one. Then a widget which will be built, and then build context, which are then called context. And then here, what I have to do is I have to return something. So with this, I can now return my text widget, which, so like I said, I now have my main function, which is this one. I now have my app widget, which is this one here. Then I now have my home widget, which is this one that I've built. So we moved from here to here, then to here. So what do we want to see on the screen? We want to see hello world. So to get rid of this one, and we can add a constant to it. Then let's save. And since what we did is a heavy change, what you have to do is we have to click on this one, restart, and yeah, boom, we now have this hello world here. Get all this information just doing a simple Google search. So let's Google for material app Flutter like this one. So as usual, you can come here and then read every single thing that you need to know about material app. You can get all these informations about material app. You can find all this information on Flutter's website. So you don't have to get all these things in your head. All that you have to do is you just have to know the procedure, how to set it up. So this is my emulator. And yeah, we now have our first hello world.